Friendship supreme. Friendship supreme. Finding the geek within.
What's up, everybody? I'm Michael.
This is Cleve.
And welcome to an exciting episode of Friendship
Supreme.
We're the podcast that dares to ask, in the end, did it really matter?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think most times it does.
Yeah. Bye, guys. Have a good day.
Yep. Thanks for watching. I think Michael's heard about this, but today we are going to talk a little bit about the band Linkin Park and their reemergence into the world.
They are re-emerging into.
With a new lead singer.
There is a new lead singer.
Have you heard any of it?
I have heard her sing.
Okay.
I have seen jokes
With them?
With them.
Okay.
I have heard jokes in which we call it now ZeldaPark. Get it? Huh? Get it?
Mm-hmm.
I also know that there was a slight.
Those jokes are nicer than some of the jokes I've seen.
Oh, I imagine. I know that there was a slight debacle because they had like on their website, like there's an announcement coming, and then like I think it didn't necessarily work out at the same time that the timer was going down. But then also they were announcing something at the exact same time something else was happening. It was like somebody else was announcing like a big comeback.
They did have a countdown that went to 0 and then started counting up.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was. And then I know that there was a lot of speculation originally that the lead singer from Sum 41 was going to go over and do it because Sum 41 is now on their last tour. Like they're done. So
I don't know that I would have liked that.
No. Here's the thing, right? So like iconic. Linkin Park less iconic than the other band I'm about to talk about, but like iconic bands replacing their vocalist is really important to like have a very similar sound, because when you're going to play at stadiums and shows, you need that sound for the songs you sang with the other person they're replacing. Adam Lambert being the example for Queen, like a ton of people were like, oh, you can't, like, why is Queen still going? But like Adam Lambert does an amazing fucking job of performing Queen songs like Freddie Mercury would have. And so the one song I did hear, or like a small clip of her singing, and I don't remember her name, so I apologize because I only know little tidbits of this.
Emily Armstrong is her name.
Emily Armstrong. I saw a tidbit of her singing, and I heard Linkin Park when she was singing. Like it's her voice, what she was doing to her voice was very much the same.
That raspy, scratchy.
Yeah. So no, but I'm excited to hear more information if you have it, because like that is
we were just gonna talk a bit about it and see what you feel and what you thought. So they had a live stream. I watched majority of it. It started with a brand new song.
Okay.
By Linkin Park, where she's in it.
Yeah.
Called Emptiness Machine. 1 second. Yeah, the Emptiness Machine. I thought it sounded good. Also, it's a new sound. It's a new sound. It's a new them. Chapter era, how I describe it. But later on in the stream, they sang old songs, and she sang those parts. And I don't know if you heard any of that.
I did hear there was one song I heard, and I think it was the In the End one that I heard her singing, and that was when I was like, oh, like this sounds like Chester.
Yeah. So there were definitely parts where, and this is at least where I can see people comparing the two, right? Because you can't compare her on the new song to him because it's a new song.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, even if someone did a cover of a song, you could compare, because that's two people are singing the same song. So you can definitely say, I like this one better over that one, whatever. And I get that. But I don't think that she sounded bad in any of it.
Right.
I also don't think that going for an exact replica of how he sings was the right call.
Agreed.
And I also think that maybe in the live stream, because I listened to the live stream version of the song and then I listened to like the actual video release of the new song,
hmm
and I don't think anybody could have stepped into this role and not gotten immediate criticism.
So I think maybe it's because of the way Chester went. It's Chester, right?
Yes, Chester Bennington.
Thank you. Maybe because of the way he went, the people would have given more flack for who's coming in to replace them. But I think people need to take into consideration it's not a replacing of a person; it's a continuation of a group who has to find a way to continue to
Who
go on.
they lost someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they also don't want to replace their friend. They're not trying to forget
It wasn't a
Chester.
falling out.
Right. This is a matter of their journey's not done. Their friend is gone. They need to find a means to continue their journey, and this
Mhm.
happens to be one. And you want a similar sound, but I agree, you don't want a mimic. Like, you don't want an impersonator to come up there and give an exact sound of that person, because then it almost is tainting, I
Mhm.
guess, the original sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
don't know.
he did do the Mike Shinoda.
Yeah.
Uh, he did do the thing where he introduced everybody.
hmm
I'm going to introduce the band, went through each person and their name, included Emily in it. So it's not like for our tour, she's going to be like they're going to have guest people in the
hmm
spot all the time. It sounds like she's in the role.
Yeah.
And he said, in the role of Chester Bennington, it's going to be you guys. And so it kind of let the audience sing along with the songs,
Right.
but they don't sound good at all. Like, and they're not singers. They're
Yeah.
not. But everybody's all over the place and it's bitchy and whatnot. And I appreciate him saying, you guys are going to take his role. You guys are going to live it on.
Right. The
But
spirit.
like, it didn't. It didn't work necessarily for me because sometimes you get a stadium to sing
Mm,
and they're like just perfect.
yeah.
And this was not that. Um,
Uh,
there are also like 77,000 people watching the live stream, which is a crazy fucking number.
and I imagine
Yeah,
that they were all just shitting on it the whole time.
yeah. So Chester, yeah, he passed away July 2017,
Yeah.
and
7
they've
years
not,
now.
yeah, they've not been able to do anything. I know Mike did his own like album.
Mm. He even did his
Um,
own thing while Chester was alive, I feel like.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, while Chester was live and while Linkin Park wasn't really going strong.
Yeah.
Also, they got a new drummer.
Are people upset about that?
You would think so, Michael, because they're so upset about the
They're so
singer.
upset.
But
Yeah.
no, I've not seen anybody really mention that there's a new drummer on the band, and
Okay.
he's alive and well.
Yeah, the drummer, yeah.
They just had like a falling out, like
Yeah.
we were talking about. But no, nobody's upset about that. Not that I've seen. I've not seen anybody be like justice for what's his face.
Maybe because you have to say what's his face.
That'll do it.
That'll do it. So interesting about Emily Armstrong. She's in a band called Dead Sarah since 2002.
hmm
I don't know this band, but apparently they've been around and exist. And
Uh, I will say, not to her credit, the worst thing that I've seen about Emily
Hmm?
is there's been a couple articles that read more or less like this. Linkin Park's new lead singer explains backing Danny Masterson in rape trial.
I was going to ask you about that because because while you were talking, I said, okay, let me figure out who this lady is. Yeah, I saw that. I mean, it's tough, right? Because we've said multiple times that people are dead to us for their backing of people, and
So she made a post.
yeah,
Hi, I'm Emily. I'm new to so many of you, and I want to clear the air about something that happened a while back. Several years ago, I was asked to support someone I considered a friend at a court appearance, and when I went to one early hearing as an observer, I soon after I realized I shouldn't have. I always try to do the good in people, and I misjudged him. I have never with him since. Unimaginably uh, details emerged, and he was later found guilty. To say it as clear as possible, I do not condone abuse or violence against women, and I empathize with the victims of these crimes.
so I would be curious to that. I'm sorry, was it not done?
That was it.
Okay. I'd be curious to that. So the way she says it makes it sound like she didn't write a letter like Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis
hmm
did. It sounds like she was asked to, and what she did was showed up to the court to just be there to support him, and then heard, oh, these are the things he's being that are alleged against him, and she was like, cool, I don't want to fucking fuck with this person. If that's the case, I think she gets a pass on that. Like, I get that. Like, you showed up, like, a friend was like, hey, I would really like your support if you could come down to the court and just be there to support me. And so, like, you have a friend that says that, and you're like, okay, and you show up, and then you hear the shit, and you're like, fuck you, you're dead to me, we're not cool. Yeah, okay.
Um, what about
It's
the rumor? I guess I don't know for sure. I've not asked her.
mhm.
Being into Scientology.
I mean, we allow Tom Cruise to exist, and he is like fucking deep into Scientology.
Kind of what I thought. Like,
John Travolta too, like deep into
yeah.
Scientology. I think they're kooks. I think they're absolutely batshit crazy. I think that the hierarchy of Scientology is criminal.
hmm
We've seen the things that they did to what's the lady from King of Queens,
I don't know her name, but I know who you're talking about.
Lena Raimi or something like that. I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds right.
maybe. The stuff they did to her, the things that they do to just your average person, like it is absolutely criminal that organization exists, and that the fact that they're tax exempt, because
hmm
the religion, and we don't tax them even though they benefit so much from us, and that's definitely not why that was originally done. It was done to prevent, anyways.
hmm
um Scientology's the devil, but I can't be mad at people that are sucked into cults, because that's part of how our society works, because we're so desperate to find belonging, and that happens. That's my
Fair enough. Um,
God.
I'm looking. Do what?
Tom Cruise is fucking crazy. People love him.
I'm looking. It doesn't look like. So they did release a song
Mhm.
with Chester singing it not too long ago, I believe.
Yeah, I remember they had like a couple of
Yeah,
I
like a
think,
song he had worked
yeah,
on and just not completed.
I do remember
But
that.
they've not done an album since 2017.
Yeah, that sounds
It
right.
came out May 2017. He passed away in July.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm looking at this album. I don't remember it. It's called One More Light. In fact, the last album I do remember is Minutes to Midnight, and that's the fucking Transformers song one.
Um, I
Maybe I'm just a bad fan.
I would say so. This is where I will gladly admit I am not. I enjoyed their first and second album. I
hmm
am not like a huge diehard. Like I'm fine going the rest of my life not hearing a Linkin Park song. Do I think some of them were good? Do I think some of them when I was younger, like probably meant more to me than they do now? Yeah, but like it's not something that I'm like, oh man, like I'm really feeling Linkin Park like I do with System of a Down. Like System of a Down, I can on a day I'll wake up and say, but I need System of a Down, and I'll just put on every album in a row on my playlist, and I'll just listen all the way through.
Yeah. I can see that. There are a lot of fans that obviously are still rooting for this band, and it sucks that maybe there's somebody who like they're the biggest fan of this band and has never been able to watch them perform live. Like
Yeah,
now that person gets
this is
this
this
chance.
opportunity to be able to see him
Yeah,
perform live, and not have to deal with a hologram like fuck.
yeah, and look, yeah, and look, this man's gone. This
Yeah,
man chose to no longer be with us, and so what is everyone else supposed to do?
right. Yeah, and Cleve, just for clarification, Cleve's not like, oh, he was selfish and killed himself. This is unfortunately the decision he made
Yeah, it's the
due
decision
to
he
the
made, and now
circumstances that existed.
everyone else is having
Right.
to deal with how they're going to handle this.
And much like most of the time when talking to people and on both ends of it, of like, that are suffering from depression and people that are unfortunately suffering post loved one taking their life, like, the understanding ends up becoming that regardless of what happens to that person that takes their life, you
Mhm.
have to keep going. Life has to continue. You're left to pick up pieces, and this is this is potentially cathartic for the band, but
I-
also a way for them to honor their friend, and that they're continuing the thing that they all had together. Like,
Yeah, I feel like they've done this as best as anybody could do it.
mm,
I think that it wasn't like the following year after he
no,
passed. It wasn't like well, I would be very curious on. I saw one person talking, and it was kind of aggravating me. Where they were like, they could have had anybody. They could have had anybody sing. Like they could have brought in any singer. You know what I mean? They could have handpicked who they want to. And I'm like,
that's
okay,
arrogant.
yeah. And I'm like, also the live stream. I can imagine being a little nervous
Yeah,
because this band is a big
he's
band,
stepping into big shoes,
and yes, and nobody would have been able to do it well enough for them,
and nobody
right?
wants to step into the. That's not. That's not
Right.
something that nobody's like. Oh man, I can't replace. I can't wait to replace that guy. And the other thing is that when I heard, so like that was a big rumor that existed when they first did the countdown thing, was that because
Hmm.
it literally lined up with the announcement of the like last tour for Sum 41, where they're like, we're done after this. And the lead singer of,
It's wild to me that they're still going. Would continue.
I know, my sister was like, oh, I got tickets to go see him. And I'm like, they're still
What?
going?
And
Um,
how many? I'll look. I'll answer my own question. Keep
and
talking.
so the lead singer of Sum 41 was like, I Sum 41 is done, but I don't think I am, is I think how he phrased it. And so then like there was a shit ton of rumors that started with he was going to be the big announcement from Linkin Park, and like people were jazzed about it. And while I enjoy Sum 41, and I actually probably enjoyed them more than I enjoyed Linkin Park,
Blasphemy.
um
Continue.
I get yeah, maybe. I don't know.
They're in Transformers.
They are in Transformers, and I don't like that song.
What?
Yeah, that's the one song that I feel like comes on often in my like radio stations from Spotify, and I'm like, yeah,
Yo,
next.
they used the shit out of that song in
Yeah, they
that
did.
movie. It was like every other cutscene was that song.
But people were excited about the idea of it. They were like, oh yeah, like that's fucking great. That'll be so good. And like, while again I say that I think I probably liked Sum 41 more than Linkin Park when they
Dumb,
came out.
dumb.
Thank you. I just think that their songs meant more to me. Probably it was during a more transition.
Because they were the bad boys. My mom said I should have had the pussy.
Probably it was my gateway into punk music and whatnot.
Yeah,
Also, he was dating Avril Lavigne, and like I had the hugest crush on Avril Lavigne. Like it just worked out. But like he's not like the best vocalist in the world. I don't hear his voice and go, "Oh God, I'm creaming in my pants." Like there are so many better vocalists that exist out there. He just happens to be in a group that had music that I liked. Like it's
Yeah,
just wild. Like
and
that's
when I heard her sing again, I don't think that they picked like someone who could just sing like he
right.
sang, but I think there were like little parts of it that she would hit that I'm like, yeah, that sounds
Yeah, there was
like they sounded.
yeah, the one clip and I think it was on TikTok that I saw the clip of her singing, and it was in the end, and it was one of those moments that she hit, and it was just like, oh, like that is very the essence or the spirit and the vibe of Linkin Park was definitely in the way she was singing. But I agree, you can't find a doppelganger. You don't want that. You're
Mhm.
not a Vegas shitty hotel in Vegas's fucking midnight act doing impersonations of Elvis Presley songs. Like you don't
Yeah,
want that.
you don't want a cover band singer to come in and do it like you
No.
want.
You want to elevate it and you want to create and go on with the same spirit and continue on with it. And like that's
And
what they're gonna
I
do.
think the members of the band who were there from the beginning to be like, this is what we
Yeah.
want, should
That
speak a lot more than any of these people who are obviously negative because it's a new thing
one
and there's
thousand
a
percent.
girl and how dare you put a girl in my rock band and
1000%. I fucking Cleve and I were joking about this earlier because we often talk about defending things that shouldn't be defended. But it's like the live action One Piece. Uh, Oda said this shit works. Fuck you. Like, what do you get to say? So when Mike Shinoda is like, "Hey, this is what we want,"
mhm.
fuck you. Like that's it. If you don't like it, guess what? Don't fucking listen to anything they do anymore.
Don't listen. It's so easy not to
Listen to the
listen.
old shit. You don't have to ever
Guess
fucking
what? Our album will be just fucking fine if
yeah,
you don't listen.
fuck off. Like the
I I like the new song. I think it sounds good.
I'll go listen to it. And maybe it'll finally be one that I'm like, all right, I fuck with this. I like I said, I think that like the big songs from their first album are ones that I'm like, oh man, like if it comes on, I'm not skipping it.
One step closer,
Yeah.
crawling,
Yeah. In the end, those three. Uh, I think those are three songs I can think of.
and then
Yeah.
what a
No,
da.
not the Transformers song. Surprisingly, and Meteora even I feel like it was like like it was an album that I can't tell you a song from it.
I think I can't, but I also think that I combine them a lot in my head.
That's fair. I probably could find them a lot in my. I remember having a walk like
Like,
a cheap ass skip resistant, which didn't fucking actually work. CD player, and I had the first album in it during a road
ooh,
trip where I just listened to the first album a lot and was like, they understand.
I would say the
That's awesome.
hard ones from Meteora are Breaking the Habit
Oh, that was a good one. Okay.
and Numb.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I
Yeah,
would fuck with those songs. Those songs come on, I'm not skipping them. But
I
aside from
but
that,
see,
like
like
I'm probably skipping all others.
Breaking the Habit, like I was, it's so closely connected to the first and second album to
It's
me that
it's such a similar sound between the two, and I feel like
well,
I feel
it's a
like
band, but yeah,
no, but
no, I get what you're saying when you say it, but like,
but there are some bands that like drastically Panic at the Disco is a great example.
yeah,
It's because of significant change in their people, but
3 year difference between those two album releases, by the way, 2000 and 2003.
so
What
two
about the one
okay,
where
so
they were with
2000
Jay
is when
Z?
I hated it. My wife loves it. My
Yeah,
like genuinely, Katie would gladly listen to that album every day.
I wasn't the biggest fan of that one, but they did another album where they brought in like other rock singers
Mm-hmm.
to do the songs too. I really liked that one, and I can't remember anything. Like I don't remember the name of it. Nothing.
I would say, yeah, I don't remember that project. Um, I don't think that there's any that I. Oh, I was gonna make a joke about Brendan Urie off everybody down, but um, I don't understand why people have to stand on hills, try to die on them when nobody's asking for that. Nobody needs
Right.
you to fucking you're white knighting a real shitty fucking stance. And like you're just proving you suck. As a human being, you suck. You don't understand that things change and that the world's gonna fucking move on and it has to. And so it's just a stupid stance to be like, oh, it's not my Linkin Park. Fuck off. Then you're right. It's not. It's not yours anymore. Someone else can enjoy it and stop fucking shitting on everybody's parade. Just stop. Just don't listen to it. Don't exist in its world and it won't exist in yours.
So it was the Reanimation album.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
came out in 2002. There was a point where I got agitated. Like, sorry, hold on. They came out with an album, and then they remixed it for Jay-Z,
Mm-hmm.
and then they did this, and I'm like, okay, you can't just keep making money off
Don't
the
keep giving
first
me your
two
songs, you
albums.
sons of bitches. It's like Taylor Swift coming out with Taylor's version. Although I understand the reason she did it. Swifties don't come.
Oh, they're on their way. They're already in the comments. They don't listen here. It's fine.
Look, if I have to talk shit about Swift every podcast to get listeners, I'll do it. I won't feel good about it, but I'd do it. Yeah, no, Katie loves I want to say she listens to the Reanimation one too because like she genuinely is a Linkin Park fan, and I don't know how she feels about this recasting, but
Reanimation is the first remix album by the American rock band Linkin Park. Came out July 2002. As a follow-up to their 2000 album, Hybrid Theory. Recorded during Hybrid Theory's tour, it features remixes of songs from Hybrid Theory, including the album's bonus tracks. It was produced by Mike Shinoda, good for him, and mixed by Mark Spike Stent. It is the fourth best-selling remix album of all time.
Interesting.
Like it had, I'm trying to find like names, but yeah, no, right. That sparks a whole new curiosity in me. I'm trying to find like who like was in the songs. I remember there was Crawling and Aaron Lewis from Stained, because I was a big Stained head back then.
Mm-hmm.
One Step Closer had Jonathan Davis, who's the singer of Korn. So they just had like a bunch of other rock sounds come in with their already established song, and I didn't hate that one. They again just sold me an album they already sold me, but still, it was not bad. Crawling had a lot softer tone.
I think Crawling as a slow song is fantastic because I think I heard it on The Voice once. Somebody do a really slow version of that song.
Yeah,
and I think that's it's a bone chillingly good song. Last thing I wanted to say, last point. Blood on the Dance Floor, by the way, album.
that makes sense.
His
Michael do it big.
His 3 in the mix. Yeah, just him redoing songs with a bunch of other people. He did one with R. Kelly.
Well, his victims get the money.
Only for that album.
Boo. Now I gotta figure out which album that is.
Oh, so that's what I was gonna say. It's the 2000s when they came out. Michael was 12 years old. 12-year-old Michael felt like he needed to be heard and wasn't understood. And in the end, it wasn't gonna matter. And I bonded a lot with that album over some dark shit that happened in my childhood, which is probably why I would fuck with those songs. And that's about it.
Fair enough.
But yeah, that's
that's all I got. I just want to see what your thoughts were.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that you were a fucking complete Linkin Park hater.
Leah Remini, by the way, I was really close. Leah Remini is the king of Queens.
And Remini.
Remini. Remini. Let us know what you guys think in the comments down below. Are you guys big fans of the new Linkin Park front vocals? Although, because Mike Shinoda sings too, so like maybe
yeah, but he's not a great singer.
Hey!
He's a great rapper.
He did a thing with Fort Minor once, and it was good.
It was rapping, wasn't it?
It was used in all football things ever.
He rapped that.
Yeah, I know. Whatever.
Yeah, rap all day. Don't you don't have to. He can hold a note, like even in the live stream, that song that they do. And I'm like, he can hold a note, but like obviously live, it's not polished. And, yeah.
Look, I heard Chapel Rowan on fucking Fortnite the other night, and I refunded my money because I don't know if Fortnite just did it wrong or that woman needs a lot of computer assistance in singing, but god damn, she sang like I did, and it was rough. But that's just in Fortnite. Don't come for me. She's doing some really cool things on the other end against scalpers and stuff, so good for her. But anyways, let us know what you guys think down below in the comments. Are you big fans of Scientology? Are you fans of the new Linkin Park lead singer? That was the word. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed tonight's episode. If you're looking for more content, you can find us everywhere under Friendship Supreme. We have content coming out every week on YouTube, as well as Twitch, twitch.tv/Friendship Supreme. I've been Michael.
This is Cleve, and trying to think of a song that you would have hated.
Crawling in my skin. These words do not. I don't remember.
I like the Kermit version of that song.
Was that what I was doing?
It sounded a little bit like it.
Yeah, okay, I get it.
Crawling in my skin.
Friendship Supreme. Friendship Supreme.